Welcome to the third edition of roofing seminar or roofers seminar, as the case may be. This is the third edition of this seminar, and it's basically centered on roofing systems, because this is one of the areas that professionals and even those that have interest, that intend to have other sources of income, can actually dwell in and make their millions. Now, one of the cases or one of the issues that we face now is the issue of either undercoat or overcoating of materials. I will cite just two different cases that I've experienced in relation to this roofing. The first one was in 2017 or so, yes. While I was still working with my former firm, we had a project in Jebode. This project was a mansion. It was precisely a family house. It was designed in an octagonal shape, having their main sitting room at the center. Then after the roof carcass, we contracted the roofing sheet to one of the popular roofing company in Nigeria, named Hotel. Then we gave them the king post, or even asked them to come and measure, but they said they are okay with the design, the architectural design we sent, but they came to confirm the king post. Then they quoted for the roofing sheet. They arrived at about 880 square meters or 980. Can't really remember, between 880 or 980 square meters. But as the site engineer then, I told my boss that we can't rely on what they do. We have to do our own quote as well. They might inflate, they might increase it. And then, because their own roofing sheets, even now, the square meter of their own roofing sheet is about 6,000 plus or 7 plus, compared to the imported one that are at 4,000 plus now. Then their own was around 3,300 per square meter. So that was why I felt when I increased it, I told my boss. They gave me go ahead. I did the physical measurements, and because I was on site, so I felt there is no need for me using the plan. So let me do the physical measurement and do the calculation. After which I arrived at 1,580. 1,480. So on sending my results, my quote to my boss, of course I wasn't aware of their own quote. So he told me that Ibrahim, you have made a mistake. Check it. It's far more than what they got. I said, okay. He said, please check it again. I just went through the calculation. I told him back, sir, that is what I got. He said, okay, don't tell them. They gave their quote is less than 1,000. He said it's less than 1,000 square meter. Then they started. They also contracted we bought the roofing sheets, the roofing tiles from them, and also gave them the installation. So we just then they started after doing the gatehouse and few other of the apartments. They were supposed to the remaining materials was less than 200 square meters, and we have not they just finished about half of the roof covering. So then they realized that this thing will not be enough. Even the roofers, the guy that was the installer, also said, this thing can't be enough. Though he was not the one that did the measurements. Then their project manager now came and said, we are very sorry, sir, we made a mistake with that. Then I was even, due to my experience, I said, oh, they have to do everything, they have to pay, they have to make sure they deliver it, their fault. My senior boss, I wouldn't like to, okay, let me just make sure, he's engineer Nicholas, he's a builder as well. But he used to visit the site. So I was the one that I was a resident builder on the site. They said, see, let me manage it. And we are going to, we are the one that will suffer it. We will go to court, the wood will be there, nothing will happen. They will continue to adjourn from today to tomorrow. So let's just pay them. Okay, like I said, do it. At the end of the day, he counted, he went around and did it. He gave about 200 or 300 more square meters, which will not be enough. But because we knew already, I told my boss that even this, what they gave, okay, is about 250. That this will not be enough. So don't worry. Then, let's multiply to 3,003 then by 250. You know what you are talking about. So my boss now said, now, you don't have the money down. And you know, everything is based on budget. You were the one that gave us the short code. So let's make an agreement, sign, take part of it, and promise to pay the remaining later. That's just one. Let's now see. Let's now look at if there was no earlier warning before. It will be something else. We just have to now start or lead to another dispute. The second one was even the recent one. The client gave the unpriced bill to the contractor, of which his QS had already prepared. So he gave the quote had 250 square meters for the roofing sheet. The contractor wanted to give us the feedback, the roof covering. So he sent the drawing. If you do the bill, prepare the bill without he didn't send the unpriced bill. But on doing it, on calculating it, we arrived at 490 square meters against 250 square meters. He also sends that there is a mistake. Your quote is like 2 times of the QS quote, the client's QS quote. I should go over it. And I told him, sir, let's do a simple arithmetic. Let's calculate the flat area of the roof. Let's look at the square meter. We got around 215 or so. Now say, and we are going to 3.64 height of king post. So does that mean all the height hips and there is the remaining 35? Sir, there is no mistake in it. Then he went forward and defended it. So why all this is that when, as you can see, so when you are now opportune to be able to do the right thing, you surely make your money. Even when the artisan, when you want to give it to the artisans, the roofers to do, when you don't need them before you bid for a project. That's part of what we do train our participants here. You don't need, for instance, a client call you, a contractor call you to come and bid. You don't need to go along with a roofer or with a carpenter. When they know that you can't do without them, they will maneuver you, do a lot. So you as a roofer or anybody that attends our training, you must be able to calculate the required wood, the price, also calculate the roofing sheets required, either long spans, step ties, the stone coats, or whatever. Prepare everything. Then after you must have won the contract, you can now inform your roofers or your carpenter, okay, go and calculate this. They said the height you are using so height as the king post. Calculate it. You now use your own to checkmate. Use your own to checkmate. And now, okay, this is what you are buying. You buy it. Then, how much is your workmanship? So, but before we move on, we have to talk about roofing generally. We are going to start with introduction of roofs and roofing system. A roof is said to be a covering of a building, including all materials and construction necessary to support it on the walls of the building or on uprights, providing protection against rain, snow, sunlight, extreme temperature, and wind. From this definition, even some people say, or some school of thought says, a roof is the uppermost structure of a building, because roof has to be at the upper part of a building, and it will rest on either the walls or the uprights, because not all structure has walls. Not all structures has walls, but there must be something that will hold the roof. And the roof, any durable roof, must be able to perform some selected functions. They must be able to perform selected functions. Like number one, it must be able to what? Protect the structure or the building being constructed on. It must be able to what? To protect. Protect from what? It must protect it must be able to perform the following functions. One, it must protect the structure or building from rain. It must protect the structure from rain, against the penetration of rain, wind, also snow, sunlight, wind, snow, sunlight, and so on and so forth. Also, the roof is part of the building envelope, and there are other functional requirements. These are the general functions, but there are also functional requirements that must be present in any roof that is regarded as a durable roof. The first is that it must be weather resistance. The roofing materials must be weather resistant. Now the functional requirements. One must be weather resistance. Number two, it must have strength and stability. Your roofing materials must have strength. It is not about how it can withstand the roofing. We are using light gauge. We are using 0.45 or 0.4 gauge of roofing sheets. So our king poles are after all this thing. Let's use the tie beam. Let's use 2 by 3. 2 by 2 will be okay. 50 by 75 will be okay. Since it's not even going higher, it's not higher. Let's use it. No, it must have strength. Not only that, because it is when the carcass, when the roofing materials have strength enough, that is when they'll be able to withstand the pressure of the rain, wind, and the light, the snow. So it must to have adequate resistance to resist the effect of weather elements such as the wind, rain, snow, and the light. The second one is the strength and stability. The strength and stability. These are the functional requirements. Don't let us forget. Functional requirements. You notice that the function we said they perform, basic function they perform, are all embedded in only one now, weather resistance. The wind, rain, snow, sunlight, they are all embedded in weather resistance. So the second is strength. A roof should be strong and stable enough to take up the anticipated loads safely, including wind load. Also, it must have adequate heat protection. Heat protection. It must have adequate heat protection. That is, the structure should provide adequate protection against heat, both to occupants and material used for the construction. As you can see where you say heat protection for the materials used, and also it must serve as heat protection for the user, the occupants. As we are here now, if you have decided to use a kind of roofing sheet that does not have heat resistance, or that does not have heat protection, you will not be comfortable here. Even though the roofing sheets, yes, they have different level of heat protection. But at the same time, depending on the usage and including the ceilings used, internal ceiling, to also reduce, also prevent the penetration of heat. So whenever we are selecting materials, these will assist us to decide the right selection of material for the right job. Also, it must have sound insulation. Even though this is relative. When you say sound insulation, it's relative to the kind of job or the kind of the usage of the apartment or the building you want to cover. That will determine the level of sound protection that is required. Some of these things, precisely if it is not residential, it will be in the specification. And the specifications are actually drawn or written from the standards like the SON, like the British standard and the likes. Those are where, so there are specifications for different structures that you are building. The materials to be used will be specified. That is why even the fire resistance, for instance, there are specifications for the actual amount of fire resistance that must be present in the materials to be used for structures like factories and the likes, and that of residential, commercial and the likes, so that all in case of any fire hazard or fire incident, all the occupants would have escaped before the building before the spread of the fire all over the building. So that being said, also the last one, or the second to the last, is the fire resistance. Fire resistance. The roof should offer the adequate degree of fire resistance in order to protect against the spread of fire from any adjacent building and to prevent early collapse of the roof. The form of construction should also be such that the spread of the roof of the fire from its source to other part of the building by way of a roof cannot occur. Even the usage of wood, it's also for those of us that are used to all this firewood, then when you put soft wood into the fire, you will notice that the rate at which the fire will consume the finish it will be faster than when you put very strong hardwood. That will be it up gradually. So that is why even though there are some woods that will never be eaten by termites, but yet they are not ideal for roofing because of number one, part of it is that of fire resistance. Because of their softness, they will be able to, they won't have any fire resistance. Some even within a few minutes, the fire will have spread all around the entire building. And second is strength. So that's why there are some set of wood that we don't recommend when we want to work, because not that the termites will actually enter there, but because of their strength and fire resistance. Or the seller will tell you that I can bet it. They will even be calling up. This wood termite is not easy. It is not only termite issue that we are fighting for. It is not only termite issue. Not only termite. Termite is one, is part of it, which is also very important. But also fire is there. Strength is there. It must be strong enough so that when there is wind blows, so it will remain firm. And also security is the last one. Functional requirement. It must provide a security to the occupants. Your roofing must not be such that a thief can just enter through it without stressing him. Nobody will know. Next 10-15 minutes, thief just enter through the roof without anybody notice. So it means it has failed in that regard. Because ideally it was is expected to create it must not create an easy access for a thief or unwanted being, like all those animals as well. Not only human being, animals too must not, like the wild geckos, the lizards, the cats, rats and the likes. They must not have access to the rooms or to a building via the roof. It means the roof has not actually served its security wise. Now move to the classification of different types of roofs and their construction techniques. Because to be factual, we have different types of roofs depending on what they are meant to be used for. We have different types and they are classified in different types as well. When you say a good roof increases the life of a building. A good roof increases the life of a building. To build a good roof structure, a safe foundation is also required too. So there are some buildings, their foundation are not okay, they are not good enough. When you want to build a good roof, they will later collapse. It is the weight of the roof that will collapse the building. You see some people building 2-story building with 150 block rather. That's 6 inches block. And the fact is that these blocks are not, they don't have the required strength. They are not up to standard. So in that case, and these people, you see some of them, when they want to, they even be telling you that they want their roof to be high, like that one, they want it to be high. So you, as a professional, when you visit such structure and you notice that this thing, this structure or this building cannot actually carry the weight of the roof they are anticipating, the client want. So you are in the best position to advise that, sir, man, you can't, this roof, the roof can't go as high as that. Even another things that we need to consider, apart from the walls being able to carry the roof, the weight of the roof, the buildability and the maintainability of the structure, of the roof structure must be considered. You must not just do your own. Then when it is time for maintenance, it should now be hard. Because the fact is that building a very high roof and during the construction stage, there is not too much pressure there. People, the artisans, the workers will have one wood or the other to lean on and even to. So it's only the last part of it that you have to do using a ladder. But when it is time, after maybe 20 years, let's say the roof has no leakage, no issue, or say 15 years, or there is one little small thing to do, that is where you now know the effect of having an unnecessary high roof. It might be difficult to get an artisan that can climb it. The ones you have around, I will tell you that they cannot climb that place. No, some people tell you they don't do roof work again because they are afraid. And when you now call your carpenter you give or the person, that's how you use them last 10-15 years that it was built, it was constructed. Because, and it's not living around up in your locality or even your state. It might not be living in your state. You want to do little work that should not spend, the material might not be more than 5,000 just to put little. But I have to charge you 15,000-30,000 because of where it's coming from. And I have to come first and inspect. The first day you come, you rent ladder 5,000 depending on the location. It's on location of 10,000. There is no use that it's just for 1 hour. No, you are taking it. So, and it is high, very high ladder, not like all those in the Nepal ladder. So, it will rent 5,000 minimum. It will come thief here. That day for inspection alone, 20,000 have gone. Then the second day or the third day that is coming to fix it, another like 30,000 or 40,000. Something that ideally normally you are not supposed to spend up to 20,000 for. If it was built, if the maintainability aspect has been considered. When we say maintainability or buildability, does not mean it's not be buildable. It is the ease of building it and ease of maintaining it. how easy is the structure during the construction? If it is easy, there will be less risk to the artisans that are doing it. And also the ease of maintenance. Not that when you want to maintain, you have to go and hire a hire that will lift the artisan to the level of organization. So it's not that it is not maintainable, but it does not fulfill the maintainability perspective. Now back to the roof types. Basically, the roofs are divided into three. We have the pitched roof. The roof classification. Pitched roof or sloping roof. Also, we have the flat roof or terrace roof, and also we have the shell roofs or roofs. These are basically the three classes of roofs that we have, and under each of them you have different types. When you say a pitched roof, it's any roof that is constructed of flat sections that are sloped and have more than 10 degrees angle. They are regarded as pitched roof. Any roof that has more than 10 degrees of angle. For instance, let's assume this is our wall. Our roof want to be here. So we have another one here. If our roof is going this way, if let's assume this is so if this angle, this theta is less than or equal to or is greater than or is greater than 10 degrees, it means such roof is regarded as pitched roof. And the flat roof, the second classification, is the opposite of that. If the pitch, the angle, is less than or equal to 10 degrees, the such roof is classified as a flat roof. Under this, we have the single roofs. Under the pitched roof, we have the single roof. Under it, we have single roof. Under which you have lintel roof. Lintel roof. In the actual sense, the lintel, we can have the lintel in flat roof as well. That is, if the angle of the pitch, a lintel roof is the kind of wood that will be in this form. Okay, can still be displayed. So, and okay, very good. This is the one. It will lean permanent on the wall. There won't be any projection here. So this is a lintel roof. So this angle, if it is greater than 10 degrees, regarded as a pitched roof. But if it is less than 10 degrees, such lintel roof will be regarded as a flat roof. That's just it. Also, under this, we have the couple roof. Under it, we have the couple roof. We have the closed couple. Have a couple closed roof. We have the collar roof. Collar beam roof or collar tie. Also, we have the B, which is a double or falling roofs. Let's list everything out, then we'll now explain further. Under this, under the double or poly roof, we have the rafter, rafters, and we have polys. The C is a triple membered or frayed or trussed roof. Whereas under this as well, we have different roofing systems or types. You have the king post roof truss. You have the queen post truss. You have the Belfast. Roof truss. You have the composite roof truss. Also, we have the steel roof truss. Under the steel, we have a lot of types as well. Please, you have the back truss, that's the end truss. You have the wiring truss, and so on and so forth. 5 of them are being covered in the material. We still have some that are not being covered in the material. So now, back to where I have talked about under the pitch, we have 3. We have the single roof, the second one is the double or poly roof, and the third one is the triple membered roof. Under the pitched roof, under the single roof is where we have the lintel, we have the couple roof, some of them are not actually being used in our area, while some are used. We've been seeing them, what we see often. Just show the picture of the closed couple roof. This is it. So it's the construction of it that makes it different. It's the construction of it. So you can see where the wall plate is being embedded, as well as the tie beam, then the common rafter, and as well as the batting, the ridges and the lights. So in this roof construction, the joint between the rafter and the tie beam are called dovetailed earth. Dovetailed earth. That is the joint between the rafter and the tie beam. So all those ones we are still going to explain them further. What are the rafters? What are the tie beam? I'm going to sketch them, a full sketch, and do the labeling. Likewise, the collar beam, as you can see, it has no king post. It has no king post compared to the it has no common rafter rather. Yes, no king post, no binder. In the closed couple, it has binder and it has a king rod or king post. Closed couple, something like this. This is the okay. This is the binder that will bind all the king posts. This is the king post. This binder. This is the tie beam. This is the rafter, common rafter. Common rafter. There have been poly. But in the case of collar roof, the roof that has something like this, of this nature, these are useful when you have, say these are tie beam is here, and work with rather. This kind of roof designs, they are useful for small spaces. Small spaces. I can remember there was a year when we had to construct something like this collar roof. All of the place is not wide enough, it's not that wide, and if you want to have a kind of design that will still be okay, yet we want to minimize the materials usage. We don't want to waste materials, we want to be conservative. So that's just the difference between the two. So ideally, the collar roof is ideal for a span varying from 4 to 5.5 meter width to 4 to 5.5 meter. While that of collar roof you can see it for a span of about 4.8 meter, 4.8 meter width. So it will still be ideal. Now let's go to the king post. King post roof truss. And this okay, let me do the sketch. This is a collar. The collar roof. King post. And this, okay, let's go through the write-up. The bottom part of the truss acts as tie beam, and this tie beam receives the ends of the principal rafters and prevents the wall from spreading out due to thrust. The vertical king post is used to prevent the sagging. It's used to prevent the sagging of tie beam at the center of the span. The struts are connected to the tie beams and the principal rafters in an inclined direction. The struts are used to prevent the sagging of principal rafters. The ridge beam is provided at the apex of the roof to provide endpoints of the common rafters. These trusses are supported on the bed blocks of stone or concrete, which are fixed in the supporting walls. As you can see, we have the king post. Okay, let us have a sketch of it. But in this case, we have two rafters. This is one of the things that make it different from what we are in common with what we are used to. It has two rafters. The first one is the principal rafter, while the second is the common rafter. Ideally, basically, this kind of hole is not common in our environment, but it exists. It exists. As you can see, the construction detail is there in the material. But we don't want to waste much time on that. But where these things will be issued is for those that travel out. By the time they know that this exists, this is the way it's being constructed. It's different from what they are used to in Nigeria. So they will know how to tackle it. It's just about where to put this, where to put that, and you know the function. Okay, you should that by knowing the function, you know the size of roof that will suit that purpose. So, and it can be used for a span varying between 5 to 8 meters width. 5 to 8 meter width. So it can be used for that. Likewise, the queen post roof truss. And see that. Okay, let me just put out the skeletal sketch of it. You can see it's having standing straining seal, another beam cleat. This is the beam cleat, the straining beam rather. So that has a cleat here. This is a beam, the straining beam. So I have a cleat here. I will support it. Straining seal on top of the tie beam. This is tie beam. The strut, this is a strut. You have another cleat mold. Use a lot of cleats, another cleats, and the likes. They all play the pulling cleats, and even the between these there's a cleat there as well. So you can see the design. It has, you have two queen posts. These are the queen posts in this case. That's why it is called queen post truss. Okay, yes, you can still label it queen post. These are another queen post. Instead of having king post, you know, king post has to be at the center and it will be parallel. It will be on a straight line, whereas this has to be parallel on two sides, and there will be need for another king post. The rafters too. There will be two principal rafters. There will be trusses, tie beams, straining seals, and purlins. And the difference between the two, the king post and the king post, is just what has been said. The king post, they have its own king post at the center, while the king post, they have two posts. The king post, you have something like this. The tie beam, king post, and this strut. While the queen post, these are the queen post. The queen post. We have the tie beam as well, strut, tie beam, and I have the straining beam, this, beam, so on and so forth. So you can see the difference. So, and okay, that's all we need to know about that. We also have another one called Belfast roof truss. Belfast roof truss. These Belfast roof truss were widely used for industrial buildings in the 19th centuries and early 20th centuries because of its efficiency and economy for covering large clear spans. It is a very efficient structural form with a curved top member that behaves essentially as an arc in combination with the horizontal tie member. Just like now, it is used for industry. Now, anyone that wants to build any factory and the likes, prefer going for steel now. But then, before the steel issued up to between the 19th and 20th centuries, this is what is being used. It will be constructed in a rigid way, and it will form that arc that the roof trusses, the steel trusses, you form now. It will form the arc. But there is a way that it will be constructed, and each side will be determined before the material will be milled at the sawmill. Then it will now be brazed in a way such that everything will work together. There won't be any damage. As you can see, you have the bottom cord, you have the end block that will assist the top cord, which is the arc, from moving. It will resist it so that there won't be poly will now be on the top cord. This way, something of this nature. After we do that, we so this is regarded as the end block. You have the bottom cord. This is the bottom cord. This is the top cord. This is the poly. I have the pack. This, and that is so that was the that is the olden days roof trusses for large span roof. Unlike now, that people now go for steel, that the light gauge or the heavy gauge steel. Also, we have a composite roof truss. Composite roof truss. This roof, the tension members are made from steel. When we say composite, that's a combination of different materials. Combination of different materials. I can just decide to come up with a design. It may be a combination of steel and aluminum. It may be a combination of stainless and wood and the likes. So, but in these roof trusses, the tension members are made from steel and compression members are made from the timber. Steel is used as a tension member because it resists tensile stresses. Steel is having greater tensile strength than timber. And the framework, the member in tension is usually replaced by a steel rod. The bottom cord of the truss acts as tie, as it is in the sketch. It acts as tie and receives the ends of the principal rafters and prevents the wall from spreading out due to thrust. A vertical kick post is used to prevent the sagging of this tie beam at the center of the span. Chain rod is used when there is a need to support the weight of an expensive roof. This tie beam and kick post are made of steel. Tie beam and the kick post made of steel. As you can see. Now, all of time we still have all these are just for us to familiarize ourselves with the different types and construction method of roofs that we have. Just like I said earlier, I want to cite an example now. There was one a man that came for our training, precisely our painting training. The man is a graduate of Unilag. He's now in UK, precisely as I'm talking now. He's in UK. He came for this training. As you know, we took him through the theory aspect, then later moved to the practical aspect. Just like when we are explaining this, there are some of these roof tie, wind post and the like that are not being in use here. Some of them are not even this now. Nobody do this again. But that does not mean they don't exist or they are not being used in another country. This man is in UK now. So some of the bases that we gave him here is what make him to triumph where he is there. He is not using certificate there. So you might be lucky, you might be in Germany, in any part of the country at any point in time, and this might be the ideal roof design that will be needed, that is suited. So if you don't know that it exists, how do you now prescribe it? How do you specify that we are using this based on so and so? So that is why we need to wash, and we have the, if you can go through the materials, we are good to go. We are good to go. But the major part of it that will take much of our time is the calculation aspect of it. Because we are not going to use only one design. We are not going to use only one architectural design. The next one are the roof trusses. Like that part truss that is in form of N. So we have the details there. The steel trusses, the sketches are there. But we are not going to dwell much on that. There are things that can be read through. Now the next one, okay, is to move to the flat roofs. On this as well, we won't spend too much time on it. Under the flat roofs, we have the mud terrace roof, we have the brick concrete terrace roofs, we have the jack arc flat roofs, we have the reinforced concrete brick roof. Okay, let's list them out. So all these that we have done, they are part of the what? The brick roof, which is the first one, or sloping roof. Now the second one, which is the flat, second classification, flat roof. So under it we have the mud terrace roof. You have the brick concrete terrace roof. You have the jack arc roof. You have the reinforced concrete or reinforced brick slab roofs. I also have the Bengal terrace roofs. On this as well, we won't spend much time. The mud roof is the ancient roof. We all know it. Some of us have been to the village before. So you see it, it have, as you can see it in the drawing, you have a thatch, and you have a T-section on top of the beam. There will be a T-section. Located at about 30 cm center to center, and using most of them, they use the timbers that they got from the bush, without not the well-made one that we use. Their own will be in round form. So it will be just like cutting a tree like hand, and they will use it that way. They put a touch on it. Then the jack arc flat roofs is classically defined as a structural element in masonry construction that provides support at openings in the masonry. Alternate names are flat arc, straight arc, and the likes. Unlike regular arcs, jack arcs are not semicircular in form. Instead, they are flat in profile and are used under the same circumstances as lintels. This name has also been used to describe another roofing system that involves a series of smaller sized yet elongated vaults that are supported on intermediate beams. This is termed as the jack arc slab roof type, and the series of vaults are usually filled in the upper surface with cement concrete to provide a plane surface above that can serve as a floor to another level, or a terrace or protective covering of the building. This particular approach can be very cost effective and applicable to a wide range of requirements. Again, to create this kind of roof, innovations such as use of hollow blocks and precast beams can be utilized. This kind of roof, as you can see with details, at times they are being used as a platform for the next floor. It should be there, just like the olden days story building that will have they make use of wood, like 2x6, 2x8, like 50 by 150 or 200, and one across. They're now having another set on top of it. So these are basically what to be treated on the flat roof. Then the next one is the shell or curved roofs. Under which you have a dome, you have the barrel arc, the third classification, shell roofs or curved roofs. So under it we have a dome, you have the barrel arc, you have the cone, you have the hyperbolic, paraboloid. They are more than this. But these are the ones that are being covered there. You have see the sketches there and the likes. And we also have the types of the sketches of roofs. You can see we didn't mention gable roof. So it can fall under the flat or the pitch roof depending on the angle used. Depending on the inclined angle used. So as you can see, skillion and lintel roof, the open gable, and the box gable. If for instance your client says or the specification says from the contractor that this specification go through it, and specification says you are using closed gable, so it means you frame the end of the gable will have projection. It will have projection that will be framed with either the roofing materials or a specified roof, a specified material. You can see this is where, as you can see, that there is a projection both at the front and at the side, on the side. But on the normal gable, there won't be a projection here. This place, okay, another difference is that on the normal gable, the open gable, this place will be made of wall, the block wall. While here, it will be framed and it's specified the material will be used to cover it. It can be aluminum, it can be anything, it can be fiber. I have the dormer as well. You can see the dormer, the hip roof, which is under this still depends on the what do you call it, the degree of the angle. If it is 10 degrees, it means the flat roof, but the shape can come in that hip, can come in 4 directions, can drain in 4 directions. We have the hip and valley, the gambrel, the mansard, the butterfly, the intersecting overlaid hip, the Dutch gable, hexagonal gazebo, jacking head, flats, cross-hipped, the M-shaped, sort box, shed, combination, and pyramid hip. So those are the basically, as you can see, that if we want to start now analyzing each of those tools, consider what you have been said, coupled with this, is more than 20, about 20 of them. So just take almost all our time. Now let's now move to design elements. We are now gradually moving to where we are going. Now we'll be talking about how do we design the actual roof, the ideal roof. As we all know that the elements, the basic elements of roofs are the materials, the construction, and the durability. When you say the materials, we are referring to the materials starting from the carcass, the trusses, roof carcass, and the roofing sheet. All the materials that will be used. Then the second element is the construction. That is the buildability and the maintainability. What construction techniques do you want to use, such that when there is need for maintenance, or even the construction of it will be easy. It should be it will be able to construct with ease, and also the durability. Fine, you have selected the material. Is your material durable? Will the materials be used? Will the artisans find using the materials easily, or it will just be consuming their time? It will be very hard to use. There are some woods that are too hard to be used for roofing. They are best to be used for maybe flooring or doing bridges and the likes. So the materials of a roof may range from banana leaves, wheaten straw, laminated glass, copper, aluminum sheeting, and precast concrete. So determining the kind of materials to be used is the first one. We also have this PVC. We have the asphalt, coal tar, Hypalon, polyurethane foam, PVC, slates, Teflon fabric, wood sheets, shingles, and the likes. So you have a lot of various materials used for roofing. The construction now of a roof is determined by its method of support and how the underneath space is breached and whether or not roof is pitched. When I'm talking of the construction, that is, we must determine what kind of roof type you want to use. Okay, fine. The first thing is the material. What kind of material are we using? The client says he wants stone coat roofing tile, or he says he wants long span aluminum. Okay, long span. What kind of gauge? He says he wants 0.45 mm gauge. Now determine, will that gauge be ideal for the structure, or you need to move higher? Or will the gauge be okay? Will the materials being specified, is it durable? Is it available? Is it available? Some clients will just, by the virtue of being travel abroad, see a materials there and come, this kind of materials I want. You need to now do your survey and confirm that okay, we have the kind of materials available. Or no, the one we have, this is similar one that we have, and seek the client's approval. After which you can now go for okay, what kind of construction method are we using? Then now check, is it durable? Is the material durable? A person that specializes in roof construction is called a roofer. It's called a roofer. And the durability of a roof is a matter of concern, because the roof is often the least accessible part of the building for purposes of repair and renewal, while its damage or construction can have serious effects. So the durability must not be compromised with any other thing, irrespective either the aesthetics and the likes. The durability is very much important. And the factors that influence the shape of a building, of a roof rather, the shape of a roof differs greatly from region to region. The main factors which influence the shape of a roof are the climate, the materials available for roof structure, and the outer covering. Those are the major elements that are to be considered while designing a roof, or before the design of even the design has started, right from the selection of the actual materials, determining the roof shapes and the lights. Yes, design has started. So that ends chapter 3. So after this breakout, we will resume back with from the chapter 4, which deals with the actual calculation of the scopes and the lights and the terms used in the industry.